Hello, I'm Dr. Fiona, a urologist and specialist in men's health. In this quick video, I want to speak with you candidly and professionally about a topic that is often surrounded by unnecessary stigma and confusion: masturbation. In this conversation, we're going to address some of the most common myths associated with it, explore the real science behind its effects, both positive and potentially negative, and ultimately clarify what current medical research tells us about this natural human behavior. Let's begin with a very common misconception. Masturbation is only something men do. This is simply not true. While it's accurate that a significant percentage of men report engaging in masturbation regularly, around 90% according to published surveys, the data also shows that approximately 70% of women do as well. Masturbation is a normal aspect of human sexuality for all genders. The urge to experience pleasure, self-exploration, and even stress relief transcends gender identity. The human sexual response is fundamentally rooted in neurobiology, not just societal expectations. So why do people masturbate? Beyond sexual gratification, masturbation has been associated with a number of health benefits. Orgasms release a cascade of neurochemicals, including dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins, and serotonin, all of which are strongly linked to improved mood, stress reduction, enhanced sleep quality, better emotional regulation, and even improved concentration. According to recent findings in neuroscience and behavioral psychology, this biochemical response is similar to what occurs after exercise or during meditation. There is now growing recognition in clinical literature that healthy sexual expression, including solo sexual activity, can contribute to overall emotional and psychological well-being. Another prevalent myth is the belief that if you're in a relationship, you shouldn't or wouldn't masturbate. Again, science tells a different story. Relationship status does not dictate sexual needs or desires. People masturbate whether they are single, dating, married, or in long-term partnerships. Some choose to do so privately. Others may incorporate it into their sexual relationship with a partner. In fact, many therapists and sex researchers recognize masturbation as a healthy complement to partnered intimacy, not a substitute. Research consistently demonstrates that sexual self-expression, including masturbation, is not a marker for dissatisfaction in a relationship. On the contrary, it can often coexist with a fulfilling sexual and emotional connection. Next, let's tackle a concern many men express. Does masturbation cause erectile dysfunction? The answer is no. Masturbation does not cause erectile dysfunction. However, there are a couple of nuances worth understanding. One concept I often explain to patients is called erectile refractory period, the interval after orgasm during which the body needs time before it can achieve another erection. This period varies and tends to lengthen with age. So, if one has recently ejaculated through masturbation and then engages in sexual activity shortly after, it may be more difficult to achieve or maintain another erection within a short time frame. This is a normal physiological response, not a sign of dysfunction. Another consideration is masturbation style or technique. If the method of stimulation during masturbation is significantly different from what someone experiences with a partner, for example, using a very tight grip or relying on certain positions, there may be decreased sensitivity or lower arousal during partnered sex. This is sometimes referred to in literature as idiosyncratic masturbation and is more about conditioning the brain and body to specific types of stimulation. Good sexual health involves being aware of these factors and adjusting behaviors, if needed, to maintain satisfying sexual relationships. Another widespread myth often voiced is, Masturbation isn't a part of normal sexual development. This couldn't be further from the truth. Data from the National Survey of Sexual Health and Behavior, as well as various studies published in journals of adolescent health, have shown that across the ages of 14 to 17, around 3/4 of boys and nearly half of girls report engaging in masturbation. Masturbation is a natural part of understanding one's own body and sexual preferences. It is also the safest form of sexual activity in terms of avoiding unintended pregnancies and sexually transmitted infections. It helps young people develop a positive relationship with their body and sexuality without fear or risk, when practiced in psychologically healthy ways. Now, let's touch on another frequent concern. Can you masturbate too much? Like anything in life, moderation is key. Medically and psychologically speaking, masturbation is only considered problematic when it becomes compulsive, that is, when it starts to interfere with daily functioning, causes distress, impairs social or romantic relationships, or replaces real-life interpersonal experiences. This behavior may fall under the umbrella of what's referred to in mental health as compulsive sexual behavior disorder, CSBD, which is recognized in the International Classification of Diseases, ICD-11. If a person finds themselves unable to control the urge to masturbate to the point of neglecting responsibilities or relationships, then it may be time to consult a licensed mental health professional. But in the context of normal behavior, there is no medical limit to how often one can or should masturbate. When it's integrated as part of a balanced life, it remains a safe and healthy expression of sexuality. And finally, one of the oldest and most obviously incorrect myths: masturbation will make you go blind. Understandably, this is laughable in today's age of science. There is zero scientific evidence to support this claim. It likely originated from outdated interpretations of religious or cultural values that once sought to discourage sexual self-pleasure. If that old myth were accurate, then 90% of men and 70% of women would be walking around with serious visual impairments, which, of course, is not the case. Now that we've debunked the common misconceptions, let's bring the conversation full circle. The truth is that masturbation is a normal, healthy, and safe part of human sexuality. In addition to emotional and psychological benefits, a growing body of evidence, such as a landmark study published in the journal European Urology, suggests that frequent ejaculation, including through masturbation, may be associated with a reduced risk of prostate cancer in men. It's important that as a society we continue to break the silence that often surrounds honest discussions about sexuality. Educating ourselves with facts allows us to lead healthier, happier lives. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this important conversation. If you found this information valuable and would like to stay informed on critical health topics, I invite you to follow along and explore more medically backed content ahead. If you have questions or topics you'd like to learn more about, feel free to reach out or comment. Your health and well-being matter.